Hey guys, and welcome back to Garden of Kayland.
Where plants run free with jokes and clumsiness, let's make it green and wild in the Garden of Kayland.
So first things first, I have been filming a lot less frequently lately. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a little while, then you've heard me mention my grandma numerous times and all the plants that I've gotten from her. Hell, I got the plant obsession from her to begin with. And about 2 weeks ago, grandma passed away. So it's been really rough. Especially when it comes to plant care and like caring for my plants. And I mean, even watering them is something that is like emotionally draining for me. So I just kind of took a little break and I'm trying to get it together, y'all, because grandma would be like, girl, stop. And watered in plants. Let's talk about the plants that are my 2024 winners, meaning these are the plants that this year kind of either made a comeback or didn't have any issues at all and are just my overall favorites of the year. So without further ado, let's get into it, and don't forget to subscribe if plants are your vibe. Number one, and these aren't in any particular order, but this is my Philodendron rugosum. I have been desperately trying to stop showing this plant so much because I'm constantly talking about just the crazy texture of it, how it feels like skin, how it feels like there's elastic in the leaf almost. And I'm pretty sure I have a clip of me unboxing this plant when I first got it, and it was kind of small. It was just one stem, and I ended up propagating it and making two just to get it a little bit fuller. And even though it's been really slow growing, this is a lot for me. This is a big deal. I have it on a moss pole. It's not really growing on it per se, but yeah, this plant didn't really give me a lot of trouble. Like I said, it was just really slow growing. And the reason I got this plant to begin with was because I thought it was the aberrant, I'm not quite sure how to say it, a different form where the leaves are like super ruffled and they have this weird, crazy shape to them. I found out later this was not it, obviously, but it ended up growing on me and I ended up keeping it, of course. So my goal for 2025 is to stay on top of watering for this plant and all of my plants, really. But there's something kind of weird about this guy that I want to show you, and that is these mushrooms I keep getting in here. Not really sure if that's good or bad. I've spoken to people who have said that it's good, so I guess it's good, I don't know. But they don't seem to really harm the plant. They just kind of appear and then kind of dry out as time goes on. So it's weird, but yeah, this is my Philodendron rugosum, and I'm excited to see what else it's gonna do this year or next year. And this one I have to show next because I actually got it at the same time as my rugosum. And this is my Anthurium coupulospathum inverse crossing. There's a lot of words there, but yeah, I got this at the same time as a rugosum, and it doesn't have as many leaves as I would have hoped for after a year, but it does have a new leaf coming in right here. I'm not gonna do too much touching on it, but yeah, it's got a new leaf and it's hopefully gonna be bigger than this one. I got this Anthurium because I was so impressed with the leaf shape and the sinuses and like the perfect heart shape and the texture. It was a lot. It was a lot going on with it. So I ended up getting it, and y'all, this plant completely croaked on me. It was dead. Well, obviously it wasn't dead, but it looked dead to me. So what I had to do was completely cut it back and start it all the way over. And for a long time, I just kept getting more and more root growth, which was weird. I had one leaf on it and then the roots just took off. So eventually the roots started growing out of the pot, and so I put it in my naked root planter here, and it's been on a roll ever since. So in true Anthurium nature, the leaves come in super tiny and very red. So there's a better view of my newest leaf, and as you can see, it's very red or kind of purple, and as it continues to grow, it just starts to turn more lime green like this one. But you guys, this leaf shape is so perfect, and I love how the leaves are starting to size up. So with all my Anthuriums, my goal this year is to get really massive leaves on everything. So that usually includes like plenty of light, keeping up with the watering routine, consistent fertilization. So these are things that I'm trying so hard to stay on top of, but there's a lot of plants here. So It's not as easy as it sounds. But the plant was pretty small. Hopefully I can find a clip of it. It was pretty small. Like it had leaves like this. So it went from like these smaller leaves here, and then it just blew up. So then like there was the next one. Yeah, it's definitely doing its thing here, and I'm glad to have it. Right now is the perfect time to show you guys this variegated orchid that I have, because it is currently in bloom in December. Absolutely crazy. So in the past, I haven't been a big fan of orchids, and it's only because I cannot get them to live, let alone get them to bloom more than once. So this one has bloomed like 4 or 5 times since I got it just this year alone, and I need to calm down, because that is so crazy for me. So this just opened up so many doors for me. I was like, okay, I can keep one orchid alive. Then I started kind of accumulating more and more. The other orchids I have are a little bit iffy right now, so I'm not going to show them today, but hopefully with the right care, I can get them to do as well as this one. But the leaves, of course, are variegated, which is one of the coolest things. And they are also a little bit pink. Like if you look inside, you can see some pink, which is so cute. And then of course there are these gorgeous, gorgeous flowers. Look at that. Let me see if it'll focus. So yeah, there's a lot going on with the flowers too. I was not expecting to find this. I wasn't even looking for it. I was just like, whoa, what's that? Because I saw the leaves, and I'm trying to get like that pink. You see that little bit of pink down in there? Oh my gosh, y'all. I love this plant so much. So maybe now that I've hit this major milestone where I can keep an orchid alive and not kill it, and it blooms again. I mean, I did lose a few leaves at first, I did, but look at it now. It's doing good. And sometimes I get like 2 stems of flowers at a time. Oh my goodness, y'all. Like, who am I? Am I a botanist? Speaking of botany, you guys, I'm actually in school right now to actually become a botanist, which is another crazy thing. I was trying to keep it a secret until it's actually done, but it's gonna take like another year or so. So anyway, now y'all know. So all those times I said, I don't know, I'm not a botanist, I'm gonna literally be a botanist, which is incredible. Anyway, so yes, here is my variegated orchid. Done so well for me this year after we kind of got off that rocky road, and now I couldn't be happier with it. So guys, understand that the next plant I got as a tiny seedling, and I mean baby leaves. Microscopic leaves almost. I'm exaggerating, but they were small leaves. So the growth I'm showing you guys is just 1 year's worth of growth. And I think it's safe to say that putting plants outside during the summertime definitely has its drawbacks, but it has its benefits too. Like this. So this is my Philodendron mexicanum, and look at those leaves. I don't know, it reminds me of a Yopi, I guess, in a way, but it's red. It has like red underside, so that's kind of where I was going with this. I liked the red on it. I got so fed up with dealing with the spider mites on this that I ended up just putting it outside during the summertime, and I was like, I'm gonna let God deal with you because I can't anymore. I'm done. So this is what happened when I put it outside, and when I brought it back in, it didn't really like go into shock or like lose leaves. I lost one, but it was only because when I was repotting it, I kind of snapped it. So there was no shock going on. It just kept growing. And I have the mexicanum on a moss pole too. You see, this is like my homemade one, and I have such a hard time keeping the moss pole moist, so it's like constantly dry. I guess that it has grown into the pole a little bit, because when I was trying to like take the pole off when I was bringing it in, it was stuck. So there are some roots down in that pole somewhere, but now that it's inside, I don't know, I'm having a hard time with keeping my moss poles, the maintenance with them together. So that is another goal for 2025, is to see what happens if I keep all my moss poles moist and take care of them. I can vouch for not having to keep moss poles moist for the plant to benefit from them. Like definitely they can be dry and just be support, but I am absolutely sure that keeping them moist, I have a hard time with the word moist. My mouth doesn't even like saying it, like, ugh. it just grosses me out. But anyway, keeping them moist just will definitely encourage their growth a lot more than it just being a support stake. So yeah, I'm going to do that this year or next year. Make sure I keep them moist and make sure I'm like maintaining them and caring for them and actually putting fertilizer in the moss pole, because you do have to do that too. I said moss really weird just now. But you do have to like treat it as if it's soil as well, like an extension of the pot, and that definitely helps. So anyway, enough about the moss poles. This is my Philodendron mexicanum, and I can tell you that the shape of the leaf is even more extreme once you let it continue to size up. I actually need to extend this moss pole. I've been slacking a lot lately. I really have, but yeah, it's something that I'm definitely gonna get around to. I'm just trying to get it together, y'all, so bear with me. But yeah, my Philodendron mexicanum, definitely one of my favorites for the year. So happy that I put it outside for the summer. This variegated prickly pear was a little bit unexpected because I'm not into cacti like that, and I always say that, yet I still keep finding myself with them, which is weird. My grandma literally broke a piece off of this for me, wrapped the bottom in paper towel, and was just like, like how she always did. She would put paper towel in a Ziploc bag and like put the plant in a Ziploc bag. And I wasn't into cacti, but I'm so glad that I got this one from her, because like looking at it now, I'm like, oh, thank God. And it's also like a really nice interaction that I had with her, and like, I really miss her, you guys. I really miss her so much already. And it's just like, looking at this makes me really sad, but it's also, like, it also makes me happy that and grateful that I was like able to have that interaction with her, you know. But yeah, so it's just a really great thing to remember her by. But also, it's gorgeous. It looks so cool. Look at that marbling that it has. And it's weird because it has plants growing out of a plant. I don't know, cacti to me in general are pretty weird, but this one is definitely one of my oddballs, and I love it for that. Love the prickly pear. This year alone, this plant has been through a lot of ups and downs, and people think that cacti are so easy, but for me, they're really not all of them, because this one, the base of it just kept rotting, and I put it in water and it rotted some more, despite the fact that grandma was like, just go home and like put it in soil. I didn't listen. I just kept putting it in water to get it rooted. But once I actually put it in the soil, like she told me to do, it took off. So yeah, that's that. Another weird plant this year is the Cyrtosperma johnstonii. I'll put it on the screen. I'm not gonna continue to butcher the name of it, but look how incredible these leaves are. So this one's an aeroid, and it's a new aeroid to me. I had not seen it before. I got it from an Equigenera live sale. This one definitely stood out to me when it first got here. I was this close to killing it. I mean, it went through a lot of ups and downs before I even got a new leaf on it. And then here's another one coming in. But it is so weird, you guys. The stems have these spiky things. I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully it focuses and you can see it, but if I were to like run my hand up the stem, there's spikes on it. It is the strangest thing. It is the coolest thing. And at first I thought they were pets, and I was like, oh no. But upon further inspection, I realized that's just a part of this already weird looking stem with this, like these black spots on it. It's really kind of out of this world, the whole thing. It's something. It's something for sure. So this one was on this list because it was, number one, stepping out of my comfort zone to even get this in the first place, and then having to figure out what it likes and doesn't like, which, by the way, it wanted a lot of humidity, so I keep it in my cabinet. But I'm still kind of learning about this and trying to figure out, like, is the leaf size going to increase, or like, is it just going to have these long stems the entire time? It's just a weird one. It's really quite odd, and I love that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what 2025 has in store for this one if I don't kill it by then. I don't think I am. I think it's pretty stable. I think it's been pretty happy in the cabinet. Not very fast from my experience so far, but time will tell. This is my Burle Marx flame, and this guy and I have quite the history. We're on again, off again, completely toxic relationship going on. So I got this as a seedling because, as you know, these are incredibly expensive, or they were. I haven't checked the price in a while, but yeah, I got it as a baby and it got dropped by one of my sons. So after that, it just went like so fast downhill that it just rotted and I just gave up. I tried so hard to save it. I tried to wet stick it. I tried everything I could think of and it still died. So I figured, okay, well, I don't need it again. I'm not going to get it again. And as more time went on, I just realized I can't live without this plant. I needed to have this in my collection. So I ended up getting another one. It was like a 2-leafer, I think, at the time. And I haven't really shown this aside from like plant tour videos. I just keep saying, it's not big enough. It's not big enough. No, I wanted to get those incredible leaves first. But here we are. So I'll show you guys anyway. The leaves are starting to split. They're starting to look flamey, if you will. So that's another thing that's cool. Got it on a moss pole. Well, I keep calling these moss poles, but they're cocoa core poles, whatever. So I got it on here and I think it's helping. I don't know if it was gonna do this anyway, but yeah, so it puts out these crazy aerial roots. Not a lot to say about the roots. I keep trying to like put them back into the pot, but I am so pressed to get these leaves bigger and better. And also it's only one stem and I really, really want to propagate it. I mean, it looks like it's propagatable. Is that a word? It looks like it'll be able to propagate maybe even pretty easily, but I am so paranoid to do anything with this. Number one, if I cut it, it's going to push out new leaves that are kind of immature. And then what if the top cutting doesn't live? It's just like a lot of what ifs. But I'm not getting any younger here, so I don't know. I'll have to make a decision really soon. But oh my gosh, I just can't believe that I have like leaves that are starting to split and like fenestrate. That's what I was dreaming for when I got this plant. And now that I'm getting the bigger leaves or the fenestrated leaves, I'm just kind of like, it's still not enough. It's still not enough. So when is it going to be enough for me? I don't know. But yes, this is my Burle Marx flame and I'm so glad that I got it, but I can't get over thinking, I wonder how big the older one would have been, because it was like a good 9-month period in between me destroying the last one and getting this one. So I'm like, what if I just still had that one? How big would it be by now? But shoulda, coulda, woulda. So fingers crossed for 2025 for this guy, because I feel like he's gonna be really doing some things. This is my Philodendron gigas, and whoa, what a huge turnaround this plant has had. Haven't necessarily had issues per se, but it wouldn't grow for a long time. And even when it did grow, it was pushing out like these weird wonky leaves. I don't think I have any left. So I did what any normal person would do, and I just propagated it over and over and over again. And these are the results of that. I think there are 3 or 4 plants in here, and to be honest, the main reason why I was forced to keep propagating it is because it was in my cabinet and it kept like growing too tall. So I would just propagate it, chop it up and put it back down, chop it up and put it back down, and it is looking so beautiful, you guys. What a gorgeous underrated plant, in my opinion. I mean, I feel like once the leaves kind of size up a little bit more, you'll be able to see it, but this sheen on here is so oh my gosh, you should feel it. I wish you guys could feel this. It doesn't feel how it looks. It almost feels like a banana peel, which is a weird comparison, I know, but that's just how it translates to me. This plant is so easy to care for once you kind of get the hang of it. Like mine, I think it just wanted something to climb up. It was kind of all over the place and very viney. So once I actually put a pole down in here, and as you can see, I have a homemade one, and then I have like an Amazon one that I just like stuck down in there. Don't judge me, y'all. I do what I gotta do. So once it started climbing, then like at first all the leaves were tiny, and now the leaves are finally starting to get a little bit of size to them. So I really, really love this plant. I have it in another naked root planter, but instead of having soil in here, I have what's it called, fluval stratum. So I have it in stratum in this naked root planter, and I just keep the reservoir like a third full with water, sometimes fertilizer, but most of the time, I'm not gonna lie, I just put water in it. It's a really thirsty plant so far, but it's doing magnificent now. This is the most growth that I've had out of any plant this year, except for one that I'm gonna show you next. But anyway, it has really taken off, and I'm so happy with how it's doing. And I kind of want to put it on like a flat surface, like a plank or something, because don't these leaves look like they want to kind of like lay on something flat? You know what I mean? Kind of like the Monstera dubia. Oh, look at that leaf. This has really done a whole lot for me this year, and it's definitely one that I ignored. I'm really grateful that it did anything. I wasn't really keeping up with everything the way I should have. I'm surprised it didn't get pests, but it didn't. So yeah, stay tuned for the gigas in the near future. Maybe I'll feature it on another video. I don't know, but stay tuned, because we're gonna have some things to talk about when it comes to this guy. This guy right here, plant of the year, you guys. Okay, so I went to a pop-up shop or a plant swap. I went to a plant swap last December, so almost a year ago to the day. I went to a plant swap and I got this as just a 1 leaf, or maybe it was 2, little cutting. And it's still in the same pot it was in, still same pot. And so I put it in my cabinet and blasted it with light, and I've been doing so ever since. And this is what we have. Oh, by the way, this is my Hoya Sunrise, you guys. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite plant. No, well, they're all my favorites, I guess, because I'm gonna say that about like 10 plants, but this is incredible growth. And not just the growth, but the sun stressing on here. Are you kidding me? So I'm really disappointed because it has recently outgrown the little shelf it was on in my cabinet, which is where it was getting this crazy light to look like this. So I've now taken it out. I put it on this shelf right here behind me. And I'm just kind of like, okay, is it gonna keep this color? Like, what are we working with here? So, and I don't know if it's a lot of growth or just a lot of color or a little bit of both. What a major glow up that this plant has had. And I'm so happy with it. So of course, after looking far and wide for the Hoya Sunrise, I found it at the plant swap, like I said, but then a couple months later, I went to a nursery and I found a much bigger pot. So I have a much larger one, but none of the leaves are red, especially not as red as this. So this is my favorite Hoya Sunrise, and I realized I have a lot of duplicate plants around here. I've really been struggling on like what to get rid of or what to keep, because why do I need 2 of the same plants? But there's something about like, no, I'm keeping this one because I like the color, and I like the other one because of the size. And it just kind of sounds like I'm trying to talk myself into keeping them instead of getting rid of them, especially since I had to bring a lot of grandma's plants. Grandma had way more plants than me, you guys. Can you imagine? And so I brought a lot of hers back here, and so then I had to give some of mine away to make room for, it was just a big thing. So I'm still working on downsizing right now, but it's so freaking hard trying to figure out what I don't want to keep, because I have like this story or something, journey, like a journey for every plant. So I don't know. I'm working on it, y'all. I'm definitely working on it, but this one's definitely not going anywhere. I'm gonna see if I can find a clip of when I first got this, because yeah. Yep, this is what I was looking for. This is it. This one I actually have 3 of, and that's a little bit overkill, because what's the reason? Why do I need 3 of these? I don't. That's spoiler alert, I don't need 3 of them. So this is my Thai pink lipstick plant, and the way that they like cascade over the pot they're in is so incredible. And this is how they look when they're like trailing, and then you can put it on a trellis, which is actually so gorgeous too. They're all so gorgeous. I think it looks so good. It like hugs whatever it's trying to climb on. Like, that is just perfection. So this plant grows so beautifully in so many different ways, and I feel like that's why I have so many versions of them, because I really want to experience the different ways that they grow. Unfortunately though, none of them have ever flowered, so I haven't been able to experience the Thai pink part of it yet, but you know, it's been like a little bit over a year, so I'm still trying to be kind of patient with that, but Look how freaking gorgeous. So this is up on my wall in my office. You see how this is flat in the back? So I have it up on the wall and it's getting some pretty direct sunlight. If I could just remember to water it. The one on the trellis, I actually keep down here in my bedroom, and I keep that one watered and it still hasn't flowered. So I don't know when they flower or like what makes them flower or whatever, but I know for a fact that having 3 of them is definitely overkill, but I had one of them and it was so full that I was able to cut it, or not cut it, but propagate it and make another plant and another one. And they all like just started growing out of control. Like these grow pretty fast, I think. So they all started getting really beautiful. And then I was like, I don't want to let any of them go because they're all so gorgeous. I am sincerely trying to downsize though. So I am going to get rid of like one of them. I should get rid of 2 of them, but the one on the trellis is so gorgeous, and then the one hanging down is so gorgeous. I have one on this shelf up here, like above, right there. I have one up there too. I think that one I'll let go, but between the 2 of these, I'm like, I want both of them, and maybe that's okay. I don't really have like an emotional attachment to them. I say as I'm trying to convince myself why I shouldn't have to let it go, but do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, I can't be the only person who's obsessed with this because look how freaking beautiful it is. Like, I guess I could let one of them go. And then also, so is this one. So which one of these would I let go? That one is a goner for sure, the one on the shelf. But out of the 2 of these, like, I can't pick, you guys. So let me know in the comments which one I should get rid of. And by the way, it's against the rules to keep one just to propagate later to regrow. So let me know which one I should keep. My Philodendron tortum is kind of the gift that keeps on giving. Let me tell you, I got this as a 1 stem, 1 leaf cutting, a little bit over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. And it has outgrown the pole numerous times. So I just keep cutting it back and like giving pieces away. They root easily, they grow easily, at least in my experience. It has been a super easy, super fast growing plant, and I keep having to cut it back. So I love the fact that I'm able to share the wealth with others with this plant and keep mine, you know, not super huge, but at a good enough size that you can enjoy its beauty. And gosh, it is such a crazy, like unique looking plant. I am obsessed with this. I have it in leca and it is constantly drying out. Like this is one of my thirstier plants for sure. Even when I move it from a less sunny spot, it's still like slurping up water really quickly. So yeah, and it grows really fast. Not sure if it's rooted into this moss pole that I have in here because I don't keep it moist, but it's still growing nonetheless. I have like a weird little situation going on right there, which I'll probably end up cutting and propagating like at this point here and just keeping it like this. This is one that I kind of prefer to keep compact because it would take up a lot of real estate if it starts going too crazy and getting too big. But I definitely feel like this plant is so incredible and definitely one that gets the appreciation it deserves, because I do still see a lot of people buying the tortum and charging a little bit too much in my opinion for the tortum. But I'm glad I have mine. I didn't realize at the time that I got it that it was kind of a more coveted plant. I see these in nurseries now and they're like these itty bitty little seedlings for like $40 and $50. I'm like, girl, I can cut, no, I'm just kidding. I can't cut everybody a piece off of this, but I'm just saying they're so easy, they're so fast, and they root really quickly. So why the crazy price gouging? I don't know, but I mean, I definitely think it's worth the money. I just don't think it's worth the money. Does that make sense? Absolutely gorgeous plant. It has not let me down at all this year. Aside from it being really, really thirsty, it still doesn't fuss at all. No pests, no issues. I mean, it dries out completely and I forget to fertilize it some months and it's still like just goes crazy and does its own thing. And I just really appreciate that. So the leaves are like, here's a perfect example of a leaf. My background is kind of busy, but look at that. Like a fish skeleton. It's just incredible. I love it. I love it so much. And this is definitely not one that I'm willing to get rid of, probably ever. I would have a very hard time letting this one go. So yeah, my Philodendron tortum, which is now in my kid's bedroom, and still doing great. Look who showed up to the party. This is my Philodendron Splendid, and splendid indeed it is. I don't really show this one on my channel often. It went from being like this malnourished, mislabeled plant at a nursery. Oh, and then after I brought it home, it lost its leaves. It grew very well, but it outgrew the moss pole. So I literally had to like cut it in half and put the moss pole in a new one and then take the top. I just did a lot with it. So I actually have 2 of these. One of them can go. Actually, I just got rid of one of them. So Mia, take care of my splendid because I'm coming for you if you don't. See, I'm getting rid of plants. I'm doing really good and I'm not tossing them. Not that anything's wrong with that if it's not bringing you joy, but I just feel better when I recycle them. Sometimes, y'all, I have thrown plants away. Like, no, immediately no, but anyway, look how freaking gorgeous this plant is, you guys. With new leaves coming in, outgrowing the moss pole again, but I'm getting like 2 leaves at a time. There's one up here. There's one behind this bigger leaf down here that I'm not even gonna attempt to show you, but it's there. And then I ended up putting some kiki paste on it. Y'all, we just went through a lot. We've been through a lot, but it is starting to show me signs of it needing to be repotted because it's drying out fast. So I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, no, I don't want to go through that again. It's looking so good. And every time I repot it, it just like declines, even if it's just a little bit. Look at all these beautiful leaves on here. Anyway, about the plant. Gorgeous, gorgeous, red underneath, perfectly heart-shaped leaves. I mean, get a load of that. What? This may be hard for y'all to believe, but sometimes I kind of do the most. I know it's so out of character for me, but yeah, I definitely have another one of these upstairs now that I remembered, and I'm gonna get rid of that one too. Don't worry. This is all I need. It is so beautiful. So this is one of my favorites this whole year. It has done so well, and when I take pictures of this whole like planty area behind me, this is one of the ones that really sticks out in the picture. Even though it's growing a little bit crazy right now, like the leaves are kind of all over the place, she's still fine, and I'm gonna let her do her own thing. So you guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Otherwise, I can literally, like I have like 10 more plants that I kind of want to show you guys, but I'll save it for the next video, I guess. Anyways, happy holidays, you guys. Thank you so much for spending another year with me. I do plan on seeing you before the new year, but I'm just saying in case I don't. And if this was your first time watching, we're a little bit crazy over here, just to let you know. If plants are your vibe, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one. Hopefully very soon.